Hello everyone. We continue our discussion about porphyria. This is the part 2 lecture. Before that, I have taken part 1 where I discussed the basic concept about biochemistry of porphyria. I hope you have seen that lecture. If not, please see that lecture. Then only you will be able to understand much better. So in this, I'll be integrating all the subspecialty which are relevant to my talk. So let's talk about principal feature of porphyria, acute intermittent porphyria, so-called hepatic. There is a dominant and there is a deficiency of porphobilinogen deaminase deficiencies there. Step 1. If you see the biochemistry chart given in the part 1. It is precipitated by drugs and alcohol. Delta amino levulinic acid can cross, which is a toxic molecule, and it can cross the blood-brain barrier and can damage brain, ANS, and peripheral nerves. Look into this. So, succinyl coenzyme A, glycine, this make delta amino levulinic acid convert to porphobilinogen. This is converted into hydroxymethylbilane. An enzyme involved is hydroxymethylbilane synthase, also known as porphobilinogen deaminase. This enzyme is not there. With the result, porphobilinogen will not be converted into hydroxymethylbilane. The level of porphobilinogen and ALA level will go very, very high. As I just mentioned to you, the ALA, this is a toxic molecule. It is going to cross the blood-brain barrier and causing damage to various parts of the brain and CNS. The clinical features are usually asymptomatic, AIP. Age usually female, young, frequent and more severe in males. It is more than 40 years. Now, as I told you, this can cross the blood-brain barrier and can cause damage ANS, CNS and peripheral nerve in the autonomic nervous system. In the ANS, abdominal pain and vomiting. This is almost always present with acute abdominal pain together with feature of autonomic dysfunction such as constipation, hypertension and tachycardia. The patient will be having severe abdominal pain. It is just like pain of appendix or perforated abdomen. Okay. So and there will be tachycardia, hypertension and constipation are the other features that we'll see, but they will be seen immediately because when the patient comes BP high, pulse rate will be very, very high. Well, in the central nervous system, it can lead to psychological problem, anxiety, depression. That means patient may just mention having psychiatric manifestation. Patient may land up in the psychiatric emergency. Seizure, delirium or coma may be there. So that means we have to keep in the possibility of porphyria also. Now the peripheral nervous system, it can lead to polyneuropathy, muscle paralysis because mainly it is motor type of paralysis occur. That can lead to quadriplegia. Well, it may involve the diaphragm which can lead to respiratory failure also because diaphragm is the main muscle of the respiration. There can be paresthesias. Other fever, hyponatremia due to SIADH. So serum sodium will be less than 135 milliequivalent per liter. Syndrome of inappropriate secretion of ADH. Well, a mnemonic for you. 5 P's for porphyria. Pain abdomen, polyneuropathy, psychological disturbances, precipitated by drugs, and port wine color urine. When exposed to light, porphobilinogen get converted into oxidized and give a colored urine. So 5 P's is the mnemonic for AIP. Look into this. This is the urine color and the patient come to you where you are suspecting it is a porphyria. Then you ask the patient to keep the urine under sunlight for some time. And after 1 or 2 or 3 hours, it gets converted into cola color. This is the classical of porphyria. Now, important point about AIP. There is no photosensitive skin lesion. It's purely neurological feature, no skin lesion. Sometimes precipitated by such as they can be. We have precipitating factor like alcohol or starvation or drug, but majority of time there are no precipitating factor there. That means it can be spontaneous without any precipitating factor also. Now, if you are suspecting a case to be porphyria, how to investigate? Definitely, precursor molecule you have to detect. And this we can see in blood, urine or feces. And the most important is in porphobilinogen in urine, because this is the immediate step to hydroxymethylbilane. This level is increased and that really confirm AIP. We can do genetic studies also to look for the inheritance, because this is autosomal dominant condition. Now, Watson-Schwartz test, this you should know, biochemistry, is a qualitative screening test for AIP. We use early diazo agent and saturated sodium acetate are added to urine. Pink color indicate presence of either porphobilinogen as well as urobilinogen also, which is the test that we use in jaundice. The point to be noted, this is a test for porphobilinogen or urobilinogen also. To look into this, the color become like red color after adding the Ehrlich reagent. How to manage? Avoidance of any agent known to precipitate acute porphyria, that we know, starvation, alcohol or any drug, maybe estrogen also. Specifically, we give intravenous glucose, about 1250 gram of glucose. Remember, glucose and heme in the form of hemetin, they both inhibit enzyme ALA synthase. When this enzyme level will be reduced, that will cause reduced formation of ALA, and that is a toxic molecule. Okay, so they are going to terminate acute attack through the reduction of ALA synthase activity, leading to reduced ALA and porphyrin synthesis. Now let's talk about cutaneous. As I told you, AIP is totally neurology. Cutaneous, they are photosensitive. That means whenever they are exposed to sunlight, okay, sunlight, and they lead to problem in the skin. They can cause bulle, erythema, erosion, pain, hirsutism, hyper or hypopigmentation. Again, mnemonic is BEEP, HH, B for bulle, erythema, erosion, pain, hyper or hypopigmentation, or okay, and hirsutism. They are the skin finding. And they classically occur in those areas which are sun exposed. That's why we call as photosensitivity. Skin also, not only that, skin is also sensitive to damage from mild trauma. What do you mean by mild trauma? Like this skin, you try to scratch in your hand, yeah, there is little trauma to skin, but skin normal. But in this patient, the moment this is done, they have a severe erythema reaction is there. This is so-called, they are even sensitive to mild trauma also. Well, they often porphyrin is activated by UV light. Usually painful attacks. Here also painful attack. But a region in EPP, they may be painless. Okay, EPP, CP are present in the childhood. Look into this. Depigmentation, skin erosion, blisters, classical finding that we can see. And this is so-called, just see, all sort of skin lesion are there, scarring also there. Now, let's talk about congenital erythropoietic porphyria. Only important point here is it is autosomal recessive. Only one question they are going to ask you. Enzyme deficiency, step 2. Extreme sensitivity to sunlight, severe scarring, dystrophy of nail and teeth can happen. Something unique about this. Severe early infancy. Okay, look into this. Teeth. Look into skin. So it was step 2. This was a step involved. Okay, and remember this is recessive, autosomal recessive. Enzyme involved is uroporphyrin 3 synthase. Now we talk about Porphyria cutanea. This is a very, very important topic. Very, very. In fact, it's the most common type of porphyria, dominant. And in this, there is a deficiency of uroporphyrin decarboxylase abnormality step 3. Look into this step 3. Associated with alcohol, hepatic tumor, hepatitis C, and hemochromatosis. These are again very, very important point. Don't forget this. Alcohol, tumor, hepatitis C, and hemochromatosis. They can develop after exposure to halogenated aromatic hydrocarbon. Now, definitely you like to know which substance contain this. They are there in coal and petroleum. Petroleum, to be more precise, where we talk about halogenated aromatic carbon. So whenever in the exam they talk to you, the person will be working in petroleum or petrol pump or in something like that. That will give you a clue that you are dealing with Porphyria cutanea tarda. Blister are seen on the back. Alcohol predisposes to this. So definitely in such cases, alcohol is absolutely prohibited. Treatment of Porphyria cutanea tarda, stopping of alcohol, vivisection, because we want to remove excess of iron. Okay, we can give even low dose of antimalarial, low dose of 200 milligram of hydroxychloroquine twice weekly can be given. Okay, now let's talk about hereditary coproporphyria HCP. Again, dominant, similar to variegated porphyria, very rare, deficiency of enzyme coproporphyrin oxidase step 4 start after puberty. Point to be noted. Look into this step 4. This is the enzyme involved. Then variegated porphyria, dominant, common in South Africa, something unique, present in childhood, and in step 5 is involved. Feature of AIP and cutaneous because it has got both skin as well as a neurological feature, bullous eruption with sunlight, and increased level of zinc protoporphyrin is a characteristic finding of this. And ethnopoietic porphyria, ferrochelate abnormalities. This step is also inhibited by lead. Also, when lead poisoning occurs, same in this enzyme is also inhibited by lead. Cutaneous photosensitivity, hepatic dysfunction, most common porphyria in children. But otherwise, second most common porphyria in adults. PCT is the most common type of porphyria. Well, a quick recap, last minute revision point. There are 5 features of acute intermittent porphyria, pain 5 P's, pneumonic, pain abdomen, polyneuropathy, psychological disturbance, precipitated by drug, port wine color. When urine get exposed to light, it get converted into port wine. Treatment is heme and glucose and avoidance of the precipitating factors. Thank you very much.